Welcome to the Make Life Merry webinar. We're super excited. Well, actually, it's a little bit different tonight. I don't have my partner in crime next to me. Emma's actually in Queensland. Hiya.
Hello.
She's an hour earlier. It's only 6:30 up there and it's 7:30 in Canberra. But this is the first time we've done a webinar not together, and we're thinking it's going to be a little bit interesting only because we do talk over each other. And normally that's fine because it would just stay on our screen, but now it's just going to be going back and forth, and I feel like that's totally fine. We're just going to deal with it. But it's week 4 of Make Life Merry, and you guys have been going amazingly. I mean, Em and I are in that Facebook group every day, and we just talk about you guys non-stop, and we're just like, oh my gosh, you guys rock.
Seriously, every week we get inspired by all of you. So it's so awesome. Every day, yes.
But today it is all about Luke Ardern. Say hi, Luke.
Hi everyone.
And we're super pumped to have Luke on board for our last Q&A live webinar, part of this October Make Life Merry challenge. And I think we're going to kick things off. I'm going to give a little bit of an introduction about Luke first, and then I'm going to pass it over to Luke, and he's going to give you the rundown of everything he's about, where he's come from, what he believes in. But I'll give you the snapshot first. Luke is a qualified personal trainer and the founder of the Adventure Project. And since 2012, he's inspired thousands to find the best in themselves through adventure and exercise. And Luke believes that training doesn't have to be boring or be seen as a chore, tick from me, and that it should be fun, it should be exciting, and it should be adventurous. So he's here to point you in the right direction when it comes to your fitness. So welcome, Luke, and thank you so much for being part of our webinar. I'll hand it over to you.
Oh, thanks, Carla, and thanks, Emma, for letting me be a part of this great little challenge. I've been seeing everyone's comments there, and it's been fantastic. I think everyone has a very diverse sort of interest in what they like and what they'd like to achieve from this challenge. So it's really good to sort of see that, because I don't get to see this sort of range of people and what they're looking for. So
Luke, I'm just going to stop you just there because your video turned off, but I think, is it back on now? Can you just speak for a second?
Yeah, it's speaking again now.
And then it turns off. Is that happening for you, Emmy?
Yes. Oh, it might be coming back on now.
Hang on, is that better?
We want to see your beautiful face.
Is that working now?
It's not, but that's okay. We'll just keep going because your voice is good enough anyway. And
yeah, it might cut back on.
Yeah, you're amazing for it. So sorry I cut you off. Go ahead, Luke.
That's okay. All right, fantastic. So as I was saying, I've had a really strong love of fitness since sort of school and growing up. Growing up and going through school, all I really wanted was to sort of be in the fitness industry, and I really wanted to sort of help others in doing so. I had a really great group of friends that I grew up on the South Coast, so surfed a lot, played a lot of sport, and really just really loved everything to do with fitness and exercise. And I guess as I sort of got older, I had friends that needed a little bit of extra help, and I met a lot of people that sort of really enjoyed me helping them in sort of reaching those goals. So I really grew a huge love of the fitness industry. I left school and I've been working in gyms for almost 10 years, and it's really only in the past 3 to 4 years that I've really found a passion for what I love, and my newfound sort of paleo lifestyle that I'll touch a little bit more on later. So in addition to that, so I'll come back to the fitness side of it, but in addition to that, I've also worked in restaurants and had quite a lot of friends that have been chefs in the past 10 years, and it's been really good to sort of see that side of it as well. I've taken my nutrition knowledge and my skills of cooking, and it's really sort of grown and blossomed into this great little project that I can sort of add to my fitness regime. And I guess sort of restaurants, they have lovely food, but they don't always have the healthiest sort of ingredients and styles of cooking. So I guess sort of the Merrymaker sisters were a big influence in sort of helping even our head chefs and a lot of chefs that we know personally to sort of incorporate dairy, gluten-free, paleo sort of ingredients and styles of cooking. So thank you, Emma and Carla.
Oh, that's okay.
Yay!
Fantastic. And as Dr. Brett Hill touched on in one of the first webinars, I'm a really big advocate for functional training. So functional training, as he sort of dabbled in, is training the body the way it's designed to move. And I think I've really sort of found a strong love for that style of training. So I think it's really important, though, and what I want to sort of bring to the table is that everyone is very different. There's so many ways to improve your health and fitness, and it is really important to sort of understand that. Just because something's working for someone that looks to be quite fit, or something that people find works for them, may not necessarily work for you. And I think we've really sort of seen that in the group already, because there's a whole range of people that enjoy different things, and their idea of fitness and exercise is very different. So I guess what's really important is you need to find out. Sorry, you're right there, Carla.
Sorry, Luke. Maybe just stop for a second. Can you tell them to be quiet down there? Either that or turn off your microphone. Look,
sorry, everybody.
This is the joy of a live webinar. You're getting it as it's happening. Embrace that.
New location over here.
Excellent. A little bit of a quieter one. All right, Luke. Sorry again. Please.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So as I was saying, find what works for you. Just because something doesn't work for someone else, there's so many ways to sort of exercise. There's so many ways to train, and exercise doesn't have to be boring. And that's one of my main goals with my team and my business here in Canberra, is that it doesn't have to be, your personal trainer isn't mean. He shouldn't have to be yelling at you. It should all be fun, and it's that whole sort of adventure of finding what works out really well for you. In addition to that, I guess the adventure project kind of blossomed and grew from there. So I love being outdoors. I love everything adventurous, and even more so, I really love sort of helping people sort of do things that they wouldn't normally do alone. So yeah, I think that's sort of where I come from.
Amazing, Luke. It's so nice to hear it all in I mean, we've known Luke for a while now, and he's trained us, and it's so nice to hear your story in a full kind of nutshell thing, because we don't hear it very often, but that's freaking amazing, and we love what you're all about.
Yeah, I was going to say, usually Luke's telling us what to do at the gym, so it's awesome to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. We've got Kayleen and Rachel and Jennifer on, so that's really exciting. They've just commented to say hi to everybody, so I'm saying hi back, which is awesome. Make sure you guys are posting any questions that you have that you think of, just as they pop into your head. Pop them into the comments section, and we'll get Luke to answer them for you. But
fantastic.
I guess we can just start going with the questions that we picked up from Facebook, Em, if you want to kick us off.
Yeah. The first question is from Kylie Lang. She actually has a few questions, so I'll just get them up here. And she wants to know, how much exercise should we do each week for maximum benefit? And what are the best exercises for losing that belly fat? And she's actually lost quite a lot of weight, so talking about from obese to losing weight and wanting to lose even more weight. Go, Kylie, you're amazing.
Yeah, Kylie is we're blown away by what she's achieved in the past 5 months. It's epic, but yeah.
Kylie, that's fantastic, and thank you for your question. I guess this sort of, it's a tough one, because again, everyone's quite different, so it's very hard to put a finger on, what works for some people may not work for others. But in regards to how often you should train every week, I think it is very much a personal preference, but depending on the intensity and the level that you're training at will determine how often you can train. As the girls might know, different styles of training plays havoc with your body, and if you're not used to it, going all out and training 5 or 6 days a week can be quite hard and can sometimes be quite sort of bad on your body. Okay, so I think it's really important to sort of start sort of at a level you're comfortable with, especially with the right form and technique. But look, general rule of thumb, I think 3 to sort of 4 sessions a week is a really good sort of level to be at. And keep in mind, that doesn't always have to be just cardio or just strength training. You can mix up the two to sort of give your body a bit of a rest. But yeah, I think it's hard to answer that one, but I think it's essentially to sort of listen to your body and to go from there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, Luke, on that. Em and I have been through like huge transitions with the exercise we've done from, working out every day, twice a day, about 2.5 years ago, and then stopping that and then moving to like a more CrossFit-y, quite intense thing, doing that 5 times a week, and we just burnt out. We made ourselves sick, and that was when we kind of said, oh, hold up, like we have to make a change, we have to have a rest, and now we've slowly brought back in like yoga and lots of walking and hiking, and then now we're only just bringing in that strength training again, and we're feeling good, and I think that's the most important thing, is that you're feeling good when you do it.
Absolutely,
yeah,
that's the key. You go, Em.
I was gonna throw in and making sure that it's fun. I think along the way of over exercising, we really lost that fun aspect to it, and now we just make sure that everything we do is enjoyable and fun. You laugh a lot.
Yeah, I think a lot of people lose sight of the fact that it is fun, and they're always striving to better themselves. That they sort of lose track of the fact that it can be fun and exciting. And so, like, I truly believe in sort of mixing it up, trying different things. I love sort of doing yoga and going for walks and running and just mixing it up and doing things that you're not generally, used to. Definitely.
I love that. Yay. Such great questions from Kylie, actually. Such a good conversation to have. We're going to go on to Julianne, who works full-time, standing up all day, and she doesn't ever really feel like exercising at the end of the day because her legs ache and she has sluggish lymphatics. She's also had a neck injury, but she does do yoga once a week. But she was wanting to know if there's any suggestions on exercises to increase tone and her fitness.
Absolutely. Well, that's a really great question, because I think a lot of people can relate to sort of finishing a long day at work and really not wanting to exercise. So one thing there is sort of changing your mindset. And I think not everyone can do it, but being able to exercise in the morning really works for me over training or exercising in the evening. Obviously, some people have children to get to school and they can't do that. But look, it doesn't have to be a long time. 30 minutes or 45 minutes in the morning can work quite well. If I think you're getting quite sluggish with lymphatics, I think things like getting in the pool or aqua aerobics and just things that incorporate, I guess, body weight, but at a lesser strain to your body can be really good. And to be honest, being in the pool, or if you're by the beach, going for a swim in the morning, I think before work would just be the most amazing thing to do. Yoga is really good, especially if you've got that neck injury. It's really, really good for your flexibility. But I think, working out in the morning and trying to get in the pool would be a fantastic way to combat that.
Yeah, definitely. And like, even if you, for me, when I'm very similar. Like, if sometimes I just don't want to go. But if I set the goal, if I say, okay, I want to do 3 sessions this week, and it's not every day. It's saying 3, and actually putting it in my calendar and scheduling that time in. And I think when it's scheduled, it's more likely to get done. And that's with everything, like not just fitness and things like that. It's like cleaning, like Em and I schedule our cleaning. So I think that's a great tip, Luke. And speaking of limbs, Em and I actually did a fun thing in yoga the other day, which we'll share that tomorrow in the Facebook group, because that's really good for lymph. So let's get on to the next question though, Em.
Yes, so the next question, it's actually from you, Carla.
Oh!
So Carla would like to know about some 10-minute workout ideas that she can do anywhere. So like when you're traveling, so no equipment, in the lounge room or in the backyard or at the beach maybe.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can definitely help with that because the adventure project that's what it's all about. It's all about just getting out there. We're a big group, and it's all about bodyweight exercises using things like park benches or hills, and doing things like squats and push-ups and sit-ups. And there's a whole range of ways to do those exercises. For example, the workout I posted the other day is a very simple yet effective workout. It doesn't matter whether you're just getting into fitness or you've been doing it for years and years and years. The level of intensity is what's really important. You can do it quite easy or you can go quite hard. You're going to get an effective workout either way. But I think it's really important, just use your surroundings. A lot of my sessions incorporate doing things like step-ups on park benches or walks, or you can use hills, things even like a wall. If you're not ready for a push-up, it doesn't mean you can't do them. Just do things like a wall push-up. As again, Brad explained the other day, you don't, just because you feel like you don't have that strength or that level of fitness, there's so many ways around it. And I think what's really good with picking an outdoor workout is pick 3 or 4 exercises, pick a rep range. So you might do, let's select 5 to 10, and just pick a number of rounds. So for example, let's just go push-ups, squats, and dips. Do 10 repetitions of each and do 3 or 4 rounds through, and you're going to get a great workout from that. And if you want to sort of improve on that, just try and do it a little bit faster and get a bit more efficient at it.
Yeah, I love that. And it's all about keeping it simple and realizing that we kind of have everything we need to work out wherever and whenever. I think it is, when you're away especially, you get into that habit of just not doing it. So I know, you're in Queensland now, and you said, my goal, like, while I'm up here is to move at least once a day. So, like, you went for a run on the beach this morning?
It was more like a run/walk. I ran for a little while and then I walked. It's really hard running on the beach. But yeah, just getting out and walking around, I think you just always feel better, especially now that one of our goals was to actually start exercising again or move a little bit every day. So I knew that I wanted to if I went away, I wanted to keep to that, because I know I'd feel not guilty, but just not as healthy if I knew that I'd not done my Make Life Merry goal.
Yeah. Oh, yay. Go, Emmy.
I'm so jealous of you, Em. I wish I was at the beach.
I know, it's really nice.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next question. Great tips for that. Thank you, Luke. Doody. Oh, well, Jess had a follow-on question from my question. So she loved the 8-minute workouts, and maybe, Luke, we could post another one tomorrow or whenever.
Yeah, definitely.
So she just wants to know, are they equivalent to like what a normal 30-minute a day exercise would be?
Good question.
Yeah, really, really good question. So, look, as everyone probably knows, there's a lot of fad workouts, just the same as fad diets, I guess. There's a lot of ways to exercise, and to be honest, no one's really right or wrong. Everyone is different, and what I've definitely learned is, I think dedicating 20 to 30 minutes of exercise in total, including a warm-up and a stretch, is much more beneficial than sort of working out for an hour or 90 minutes. Just like girls, I know you sort of spend that amount of time like you used to train, and it's not necessary. A lot of the workouts that I do in particular wouldn't really go for any more than 20 minutes. Like 20 minutes for me is quite a long workout. And I think the difference between working out for an hour or working out for 10 or 20 minutes is just intensity. So for example, over an hour you might sort of, let's just say, do some squats. You might do 3 or 4 sets of 10 squats with a 1 to 2 minute rest in between. That's going to take anywhere up to about 10 or 15 minutes to complete. Whereas what I like to do is I like to eliminate rest periods in between movements and get my intensity up and reduce my whole duration of my workouts. So you're essentially sort of compressing a whole body workout into just a short 10 to 20 minute workout, which I think, and after I finish the workout, it's definitely evident that I'm working just as hard, if not harder.
Yeah, and like because I think knowing that it just goes for 10 or 20 minutes, it seems so in reach. Whereas if you go to like an hour class and you're just like whole hour, like sometimes it's just too long and you're just not in the mood. But if you can get it done and you only have 10 minutes, then it's so doable, and it is so doable incorporating that into everyday life.
Yeah, and I think especially
absolutely.
Because we're also time short as well, that just knowing that it's only 10 minutes of every day, like that's just so easy to slot into our calendar. We can't make excuses, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, and don't forget that intensity is measured very differently between myself and someone else. Just because I look like I might be going harder or faster, just go at your own pace, because like we all start exercise to try and get to that point. It's not just a click of the fingers, it's going to take time, and I think work hard and work at your own pace, and it'll progress from there.
Yeah, definitely. Love that.
Okay, I'll go on to the next question. Yes. It's from Lisa. So Lisa travels a fair bit across summer as an athletics official, and she's always trying to get She's always trying to get a walk in, but she does spend long periods of time standing. So she was wondering if there's any suggestions other than walking, and she usually takes up, what is that? Can you see that called a TheraBand?
Yeah. I did see that question today on Facebook. So TheraBands, it's like, remember girls what you used to use for pull-ups?
Yeah, like the big elastic band.
Yeah, big stretchy band. Yeah. So look, that's a really good question. So it's funny you say that. I was at a competition 2 weeks ago, and I carry TheraBands and mobility balls around with me all the time. So TheraBands are really fantastic because they're good. So if anyone hasn't used them before, they're those different thickness, different colored bands, and you can use them for everything, absolutely everything. And they're a really good way to include resistance training into your workout at home or in the park without actually having any equipment. They're really cheap as well. So, for example, they can mimic things like the shoulder press. You can stand on one end and you can press the other end, and it mimics a shoulder press. You can tie it around a tree and mimic like a seated row or a lat pull down. You can also do things like bicep curls. One of my favorite ones is you can actually do a push up, but put the band over your back and put your hands through the loops. So you're making your push up harder for yourself.
Wow!
And I think TheraBands are a really, really good way to include some resistance training. I actually use them almost every day. So look, I think things like that are a really good way to do that, because just because you're away doesn't mean you have to stop exercising. I think that's a really, really good question.
And it's such an easy thing to take away too, like because you just stuff it in your bag and they're really light. I think we should definitely invest in one of those, Emmy.
Definitely.
Girls, I've got lots. You can have one.
Oh, thanks, Luke.
Okay.
Let's move on to our next question, which is from Natalie. Thanks, Nat. Nat asks, is strength training enough, say 3 to 4 times a week, or do you still recommend cardio? At her gym, cardio is basically lower weights, higher reps. There's no treadmills, just weights. Kind of like, I guess, what we used to do.
Yeah. So this is a fantastic question. So this is essentially moving towards, I'm guessing, a functional training gym. So this is kind of what I love. I really love training this way, and just because there's not a treadmill there, I truly believe we weren't meant to run on a treadmill anyway, because we're meant to be outside, we're meant to be exercising, and we used to run. And I think we should continue doing that. But things you can do in regards to cardio or to replace sort of running on a treadmill are things like skipping. Skipping's really fun. Things low impact are like rowing machines. Usually gyms like that will have rowing machines. Also things like it's hard to say it nicely. Assault bikes, they're the like the hand and foot bikes with the big fan on them.
We went on that
We
last
tried
week.
that.
First time.
How great are they? How great are they? But
They
they are very
They are
tough.
so
Look,
hard.
they are really tough. So I think sort of not having a treadmill is not a huge issue. And there's also lots of different alternatives. I think in regards to strength training 3 to 4 days a week, I think that works really well as long as the programming is good. So have to make sure that your coach or whoever's taking you through that knows a little bit about what you should be doing in regards to your level of fitness and strength. Resistance is really important to make sure you're using the right muscle groups and combining them with the right muscle groups throughout your program. Whether you're doing a low intensity, but it sounds like you're doing low weights, high intensity, which, to be honest, you can do almost full body workouts almost every day or every second day without damaging anything. If you were to be doing quite heavy weights, usually you'd only train that muscle group 1 to 2 times a week. So I think high intensity, low weights is always a good way to sort of avoid or minimize injury.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love
Great
that.
question.
Yeah, that's super interesting. And I think as people, I think a lot of women especially, we've come from doing a lot of cardio, then learning that actually no, you should incorporate weights, and then maybe doing too much weight training, and now coming to like that medium level, but still not having to slave away on a treadmill, because that just is not fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and it's all about finding that balance, because as we all might know, or if you don't know, strength training is the most efficient way to burn body fat, because you're essentially losing body fat, you're increasing your metabolism. So we've always been told, ladies or girls shouldn't do weight training. They should just sort of do cardio. But we've found that that doesn't work anymore. But it is about finding that balance. As you said, girls, training and doing too much strength training can sometimes sort of lead to things like injuries and boredom, and then you sort of go on that big crash. So I think it's really important to incorporate both, but at the right amount.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, I much prefer doing that resistance strength training rather than cardio, rather than like going for an hour run, which that's what I used to do, and it's much more fun because it's so different. Like it's not repetitive. It's just like you get to like I don't know, jump around and like do squats or like go over here and do this, and I don't know, it's just so much more fun.
Fantastic. A really good question.
That actually brings us to the next question, which is about running. And it's just the question, is running even good for you? Because we've heard a lot of different things, and that maybe it's too high impact, like repetitive impact, so it's bad on joints and things. So we just would like to know, is it actually good for us?
Okay, so again, it's a very controversial subject. Brett touched on it, and I really like what he sort of dabbled in with barefoot running, and which is incorporated with his whole paleo lifestyle. When I sort of made this switch to functional training about 3 or 4 years ago, I really I started wearing barefoot runners, and my style of training, especially with my running, really changed. So I actually have a running coach. So one of my good friends, Mick, girls, you know Mick.
Yep.
And he's really helped me to sort of improve my running technique. I've been a runner all my life. I've done athletics. I've done marathons and ultra marathons. But until I really sort of started spending some time with Mick, he really sort of taught me how to run properly. So I think it's really important that regardless of whether you think it's good or bad for you, I think before you can make that judgment, you really do have to spend some time with someone that can sort of help you change certain things and your style. Because, I did my first ultra marathon last year, and it is quite hard on the body, and it's really, really tough. And even for me, who looks after my body quite a lot, it was really, really tough. So I can imagine, and I can see why people do think it's bad for you, because they don't have the sort of basis of strength or mobility or running technique, and then they do things like marathon training, and they just create injuries from there. So I think it's really, I'm an advocate for running. I think running's always going to be a big part of my life and my training for all of my clients. But it's also really important for coaches and for personal trainers to to sort of flag injuries and limitations that people have, and to sort of not make people run if they can't. I think that's really important.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess that's with any exercise, like even with like squats and overhead presses, any weight work, like you want to get your technique down so you're not actually going to injure yourself in the long run.
Absolutely.
And I mean, yeah, that's probably number one. And that's why it is so important to remember, like, start with what you have and with what you know. Like, any movement is good. But if you want to, like, then improve on that or learn new things, it's good to get someone else's opinion or some expert help, I guess.
Yeah, and that's why there's people. Yeah, you go, Em.
No, you go, Luke.
Oh, this is so fun.
That's why, as you've met all of these experts, like, I know a lot of people wouldn't sort of see them usually, but I really firmly believe in seeing chiros and seeing physios and seeing people that can improve your technique, because I think a lot of people, especially things with challenges and fitness challenges, they just go really hard from the start without the proper knowledge, and that's when they create injuries and they just sort of end up crashing down back to where they were. So I think it's really important to get expert advice.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And I think it's exciting because we were talking about our next program, which we're going to run in January, and we're going to do like a weekly workout, which will be obviously done by an expert, and we'll have like all the technique and things like that, so people can do it and they can feel safe while they're doing it. Because I think that's another thing, you've got to feel confident when you do it. Sometimes I'll go to the gym and I'm like, I just don't know how to use that machine, so I won't hop on it. But if someone was to tell me or show me how to do it, I'll be like, okay, now I feel okay to go and do that. That was a good question.
Yeah, really good
question.
That was a
good question.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to move on to the next one. And Luke, this is kind of like your area of expertise, because the question is tips on making exercise more fun.
All right. I can definitely help with that. So this is, in my eyes, it's a really easy one. I don't know why people struggle with this. Maybe it's because they're scared or they're nervous to try new things. But my biggest tips for this is, first of all, find people that kind of want to share that journey with you. It's very hard to do it by yourself, and it could be, grab your kids or grab a friend or grab a colleague and just say, look, hey, would you like to just try some exercise? And it could be anything, you could go and hire a bike or go for a bushwalk or, just do anything, absolutely anything. So I think doing it in the right company is number one. Number two is definitely finding a spot that is like easy to exercise in. You don't want to be in a concrete gym underground with no natural light, because it just doesn't create that sort of happy environment. I think you really want to find somewhere that's just beautiful and you're outdoors, should the weather be okay. And my number one tip, I think, is trying to see a sunrise or a sunset. That's my favorite one.
Oh, that's the best tip.
I absolutely love training at sunrise and sunset. But yeah, doing it with people that also share the same sort of goals as you, finding a really nice location or a spot, and also just mixing it up. Just change it up. There's so many different exercises and so many different ways to train. And just remember, exercise doesn't have to be at the gym. It can be absolutely anything. Just get outside and move is my number one tip.
Yeah, I love that. And my computer's going off. I don't know if you can hear those dings. One of my I had like a little aha moment when you were talking, Luke, and I think that making where you work out like have no obstacles to get to, because when it's like an hour drive to get to the gym, you're like, well, no, I don't want to drive an hour. You make that excuse. But if your like place where you're going to go work out is at a local park and it's a 5-minute walk, use that as part of your workout. Like, that's your warm up, your walk to the park. And I think that's an awesome thing. If you've got somewhere near your house or near your workplace, you're not going to have that.
Or even at your house.
Yeah, in your backyard, in your lounge room. We work out here before. We've done that.
Oh, you've got a lovely backyard to work out in.
We do. Oh, that's awesome. Do you have any tips to add on making exercise fun?
I think they were really, really amazing sunset and sunrise thing, because it's something you always want to do, but it's, you know, bed's always more comfortable, and you just want to stay in bed. But if there's like another bonus, so you get to see the beautiful sunrise, but you also get your workout in, it makes so much sense. And now I get it. I get why you do that, Luke.
Yeah, I do too. I was always like,
one
why
sunrise
is
a
it
day.
Such a good tip. I love it.
And I think I was just going to also add, definitely like finding your group to do it with. So Carla and I are really lucky in that we train together, and we've always done that since we were young in high school. And I think that's really helped us. So when one of us was feeling a little bit flat, like we'd rather just stay home and watch TV, the other one would be like, no, let's go, and you're going to feel better once we do it. And then, you know, before the workout, you never want to go. And during the workout, half the time, I'm like, oh, this is too hard. But then after, you feel amazing. So it's always worth it.
It's like, I'm a phenomenal athlete. I'm an Olympic athlete. That's how you feel after your workout.
All the good endorphins running through.
Yeah, on top of the world. And then even if you can't find a group of people, even like find like someone who doesn't live nearby, like just to keep you accountable, like having that message buddy that can, like, you know, just check in or like see, or you can like share your wins with them. I mean, that's so much fun when you like share your wins, because it just makes you feel so much better. So
Absolutely.
I love those tips. On to our next question. Do you want me? I'll do it.
Me?
This is hilarious.
This is hilarious. Okay, so we were wondering, okay, so let's say I have never worked out before, or I haven't worked out for years. Like, what are your, you know, top 3 tips for getting back into exercising or some sort of fitness regime when I'm feeling intimidated and not sure what to do?
Okay, so it kind of leads on from what we were just talking about. And I think if you haven't done exercise before, or you haven't done it for a long time, I think the first step is to sort of even speak to someone that does train or exercise, and just sort of get an idea or a feel to sort of what your options are. Because I think a lot of people sort of they get caught up in the first gym they speak to, or the first person they speak to. They sign up and they jump right in, and then they realize down the track, oh, maybe that wasn't the right decision. So I think it's really important to have a look at your options. Don't feel like you have to go to a gym. There's plenty of groups. I know there's a really great group here in Canberra for females called FIT, so Females in Training, and they're actually a group of ladies that they just get together and they do runs, they ride, they swim, they just do a whole bunch of activities, and it's all free. And it's a really great way to start to get into it. And I think from there you network and you meet people like that, and they'll tell you exactly what you should be doing and where you should be doing it. So I think definitely don't make that decision on your own. Find someone or find a group that is already doing it, and I'm sure they'll tell you everything they love and what they like to do. So I think that's a really good way to start. And then just start by getting out there and really short, small workouts. Even start walking. Walking is the best way to start. Yeah.
Definitely. I think when we had a really big break from exercise, which we did this year, I mean, we used to be complete gym junkies, and we just knew we had to have a huge break, and we kind of like spent a few months doing nothing at all, and then it was walking that really let us like eased ourselves back into exercise, and we would go hiking up just the hill outside our house, and it was so beautiful. So not only do you get your exercise in, but you're getting out in nature, and which is so important as well.
Yeah,
especially now because it's so warm. It's getting warmer and it's beautiful.
Yeah, we were doing it in the winter though. We had our big coats on, and that was still beautiful.
Yeah.
Even though it was so cold. I couldn't agree more with you in like doing your research beforehand, because you want to find, there's nothing worse than going to a gym where you don't feel comfortable or you don't feel right there or whatever. So if you go and visit places first, check them out, scope them out, see if it's your kind of place, your vibe. It's kind of like with everything, like don't jump into anything too soon, but beginning where you can with what you have. So walking outside, I mean, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, and it took me. Don't be disheartened if you don't find that straight away, because in 10 years I've really only found what I truly love doing, what I truly find works best for me in the last 3 or 4 years. And girls, you're still working out what works well for you even now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so don't be disheartened if you don't find that, because there's a long time left to find what works for you.
100%. And it's with everything, it's going to change. You're going to do one thing and then you're going to be like, actually, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to do something else. It's very similar to like how both Em and I eat. Well, like it's all about listening to how your body feels and what it responds well to and what it doesn't respond well to, and cancelling out obviously the stuff that it doesn't respond well to.
Yeah. I was just going to also add in that definitely awesome to get the advice of experts, but also there's so much information online as well. We don't share a lot of information on fitness and exercise, but there's so many great blogs and people who share amazing articles. So that's another good way to get started and get that confidence about starting a new exercise or fitness regime.
Yeah, and even
Absolutely.
workout videos and things like that, they're huge on YouTube. So
YouTube is so good for that.
Yeah, simple. How do I squat properly? Something will pop up, and you can we YouTube everything. So I think that's also a great place to start, because you can do that at home by yourself with no one else if you don't feel comfortable going someplace. That was amazing. Can I just say? So many good things that I think every single person can action tomorrow. There was definitely some big things there. So thank you so much, Luke, for sharing all your advice and knowledge with us. I just want to leave a couple minutes, Luke, for you to tell us where we can find you, and so everyone can follow you on social media and on your website and things like that.
Yeah, of course. All right. So I actually post almost all of the workouts I do with my team on Instagram. Is probably the better one to do. So my Instagram is the Adventure Project CBR, or for Canberra, and it's the Adventure Project Canberra on Facebook. So I post all of my workouts and all of my sunrises and sunsets on there.
Yeah, I know. There's some epic shots on there. They're so beautiful. But we just want to say again, Luke, how grateful we are for not only for your time tonight, but also for your time that you spent in the Facebook group and giving people advice on how they can get started with their workouts and posting some workouts as well. I know that was super fun and everybody loved that. So we were just super pumped to have you on board. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, before you go, I'm going to cut you off because it's actually you're a massive part of the reason why I'm sort of the way I am now. So thank you both for sort of helping me with my journey.
Oh, our pleasure.
Thanks,
That's
Luke.
our biggest passion. So seeing other people do what they love to do. So anytime.
Thank you. And don't forget, if anyone ever has any questions, just send me a message on Facebook, and I'm always happy to answer them for you. Don't ever feel like it's too silly or you feel like you shouldn't ask, because there's not a silly question.
Oh, thank you, Luke. That means the world, and I'm sure lots of people will probably be messaging you now.
Absolutely fine.
It was awesome to have you on for this webinar, and we can't wait to see what you do next. And we can't wait to see everyone in the Make Life Merry Facebook group tomorrow.
Fantastic.
We're going to sign off now.
Thank you.
All right. See you later, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.